Hospital in Thailand gives newborn babies tiny face shields as protection from coronavirus. Even amidst a pandemic, life goes on. That's certainly the case at Praram 9 Hospital in Bangkok, Thailand, where on Thursday, 2 newborn babies were given tiny face shields to help protect them from COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus, while they traveled home from the hospital. In a statement to media, the hospital explains that on Thursday the nurses had begun preparing the babies to be discharged and taken home from the hospital. When the baby's mother explained that she would have to take a taxi or public transport to get home, the nurses worried about the baby's well-being and they handcrafted the face shields, the hospital says. The face shields were just for a short-term protection, the statement continues. The hospital adds that it does not have any pediatric cases of COVID-19. In a post on Facebook, the hospital reiterated that these face shields were for a unique case just for the baby's journey home from the hospital and are not usually given to all newborn babies in the hospital. Because safety is what we care about the highest, the post said. The photographs, which were taken through a glass window in the hospital's maternity ward, show nurses and the mother also wearing masks around the newborns. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, recommends children age 2 and above wear face masks in public to help stop the spread of coronavirus. Experts believe children are more likely to be asymptomatic carriers and could be inadvertently spreading the virus. However, as Dr. Jamie Macklin, a pediatric hospitalist at Neshanwood Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, told Today, babies and young toddlers have smaller airways. Breathing through a mask can be harder for them. Using a mask on an infant can increase the risk of suffocation. Experts don't recommend putting a mask on a child under the age of 2. A newborn baby is susceptible to person-to-person spread of coronavirus. A very small number of babies have tested positive for the virus shortly after birth, the CDC says on its information page about pregnancy and breastfeeding. However, it is unknown if these babies got the virus before or after birth. Rhino patrolling at street in Nepal to assist enforcement during national lockdown. Adhering to stay-at-home regulations can be a difficult task for some. But when the alternative is facing off against a 2-ton, street-strolling rhino, it doesn't seem so bad. A video shared recently on Twitter by Indian Forest Services officer Parveen Paswan shows a one-horned rhino casually strolling down a mostly deserted road near Chitwan National Park. The lumbering pack briefly lunged at a pedestrian, sending the man fleeing for the safety of a nearby building, before heading in the direction of more natural surroundings. Aside from a number of misinformed or inaccurate reports, some stories of animals bouncing back as a result of decreased human activity have proven to be true, but Paswan was careful to point out that it's not uncommon to see one-horned rhinos straying from the nearby forest. Nepal is a vital stronghold for the vulnerable species and is home to a healthy population of rhinos. It's likely that the sizable streetwalker would have emerged from its natural habitat regardless of the number of people present in the village. While the video provides some much-needed comic relief in a trying time, it also brings into sharper focus the growing problem of human-wildlife conflict. When large game strays into human-inhabited areas, it does not always end in laughter. Back in 2015, a rhino charged through a local market and bus station in the Nepalese town of Tauda before entering a hospital. One person was killed and several others injured. Although incidents involving casualties are rare, controlling human-wildlife conflict remains a challenge for Nepal's wildlife officials. In a country with a reputation for conservation success, albeit with some controversy, attacks on humans by wildlife can lead to retaliatory killings which may tarnish the nation's reputation as a leader in the fight against wildlife crime. Rhino numbers have steadily increased in Nepal since Chitwan was declared a national park in 1973. In the middle part of the 20th century, poaching and habitat loss had pushed rhinos to the brink, with fewer than 100 individuals still hiding out in Nepal's forests. But concerted conservation efforts have helped increase this number to over 600. More rhinos, however, means a greater chance that these animals will clash with people. Fortunately, this encounter ended peacefully. Video of raccoon washing hands goes viral. Twitter calls it smarter than humans. We all know hand washing, hand sanitizing and social distancing play an important role in the fight against the novel coronavirus. Health officials have been sharing the correct way to do that 20-second hand wash that cleans every inch of your hand and keeps the virus at bay. A lot of videos depicting the same also went viral on the internet, and Indian Forest Services IFS officer Parveen Kuswan also shared one such video of a raccoon. Yes, you read that right. He shared the video with the caption, "Everybody must wash their hands carefully." Second demo by the raccoon. Watch carefully. Typed it video. The 15-second video shows a raccoon washing its hands thoroughly. The animal first puts its hands in a bowl filled with water. For the second step, it takes a good amount of soap and rubs hands nicely. For the final step, the raccoon then rinses its hands again with water. After the video was posted, it immediately went viral, garnering more than 17K views and over 1.7K likes. This video is mind-blowing and Twitter agrees with us. Have a look at some of these comments. Coronavirus lockdown. Drone delivers pan masala in Gujarat. A video of pan masala getting delivered using a drone in Morbi, a town in Gujarat, has gone viral on the internet. The nation is under lockdown because of the novel coronavirus outbreak. People are isolating themselves inside their homes to maintain social distance and stop the further spread of the novel virus. To ensure that people follow the lockdown guidelines, the government has put restrictions on a lot of things except essential services. However, this hasn't stopped many from flouting the rules. A recent incident of pan masala getting delivered using a drone in Morbi, a town in Gujarat, came to light. A video of the incident was uploaded on social media app TikTok and was then shared on several other platforms. We came across the video on Instagram and it was captioned, "It is proved once again that the Gujarati can do anything for the pan spice." Even in this time of the epidemic of corona, spices were taken from a drone in Morbi. In the video, packets of pan masala can be seen hanging from the drone, as they get delivered to a person standing on a terrace. After the video went viral, police took action against the culprits and 2 people were detained. These Indonesian villagers are dressing up as ghosts to flatten coronavirus curve. Just ask those people from Indonesia's Kep village in central Java. Several volunteers have been dressing up as pocong ghosts to scare people into remaining indoors. The pocong, or shroud ghost, is infamous in Indonesian and Malaysian folklore. The ghost is believed to be the soul of a deceased person who is trapped in its shroud, the cloth used in Muslim burials to wrap the dead. Several youths of Kep village have begun dressing up as the ghost and sitting at the entrance of that village to prevent people from going in and out. The pocong is not to scare residents. Instead, we want to educate residents on the fact that coronavirus causes death. It is a shock therapy, as people usually pay more attention to anything related to death, Kep villager Anjar Penku said to the media. While Indonesia is yet to follow the heels of its neighbors Malaysia and Singapore by implementing measures to control the spread of the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, the Southeast Asian nation has announced restrictions on social gatherings. Turns out, the tactics initially didn't work. According to Reuters, several residents began coming out to see the ghosts for themselves. So the village volunteers changed their tactics by launching surprise pocong patrols instead. During the past 3 days, no residents were seen going out at night. Apparently, they're scared of the fake ghost, Anjar said. The volunteers would sit at the entrance from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., according to Kompas. Since the pocong appeared, parents and children have not left their homes, Karno Subhagma, a villager said, adding that people typically have begun remaining indoors after evening prayers. Risette feeds Vietnam's coronavirus lockdown. A Vietnamese entrepreneur in Ho Chi Minh City has invented a 24/7 automatic dispensing machine providing free rice for people out of work following an ongoing nation-wide lockdown to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus. Vietnam has reported 262 COVID-19 cases, and no deaths so far, but as a result of a 15-day social distancing program that began on March 31st, many small businesses have been shuttered and thousands of people temporarily laid off from work. Nguyen Lai's husband was among those who have lost their job. This rice ATM has been helpful. With this one bag of rice, we can have enough for one day, said the 34-year-old mother of 3 children. Now, we only need other food. Our neighbors sometimes gave us some leftover food, or we have instant noodles. The machine distributes a 1.5 kg bag full of rice from a small silo to waiting workers, many of whom are street sellers or people who earned a living from cash-in-hand jobs like housekeeping or selling lottery tickets. Hon Tan, the businessman behind the idea, had initially donated a batch of smart doorbells to hospitals in Ho Chi Minh City before turning his technological expertise to food distribution. Similar rice ATMs have been set up in other big cities like Hanoi, Hue and Da Nang, according to state media. Employees monitoring the rice ATM declined to comment, but Anh told state media he wanted people to feel they still had access to food and resources, despite the current economic difficulties they found themselves in. I refer to this machine as a rice ATM because people can withdraw rice from it, assured that there are still good people out there who want to give them a second chance, he said. While many in the communist-ruled country can rely on this social safety net, and the government has introduced a stimulus package designed to help society's most vulnerable, some people living on the margin, like Lai and her family, have not received enough support. I read about this rice ATM on the internet. I came to check it out, and couldn't believe it came out for real. I really hope the sponsors would keep doing this until the end of the pandemic, said Lai, adding that her family's biggest problem was now paying their rent. Rio's Christ the Redeemer statue lit up as a doctor, in tribute to healthcare workers fighting coronavirus. Brazil's Christ the Redeemer statue was illuminated to look like a doctor on Easter Sunday, in a tribute to frontline healthcare workers battling the coronavirus pandemic around the world. The flags of several countries affected by the outbreak were also projected onto the monument, which towers over Rio de Janeiro. The city's Archbishop, Dom Orna Tempesta, performed a mass at the base of the statue during the light show, in which he paid tribute to medical workers. Messages of thanks in various language appeared on the statue, while pictures of medical professionals wearing scrubs and putting on face masks were also shown. The slogan Fique em casa, meaning stay at home, was projected onto the statue's arm. This is the second time the monument has been illuminated in response to the pandemic. Last month, a composite of various countries' flags was displayed on the statue, recognizing nations that have reported cases of the virus.